Will the Kitchen Gizmo Snap and Strain Strainer strain your patience? On this unsponsored
Unsponsored? Is that even a word?
video, we are going to put it to the test by bending and snapping onto multiple-sized pots and pans so that we can wash fruits and vegetables, drain off the water when making mashed potatoes, drain off the excess fat when browning ground beef, drain cooked pasta, drain parboiled vegetables, and see if the Snap and Strain strainer is compatible with the inner pots of the most popular pressure cookers, which in my case is a Multi Multipot.
Kitchen Gadget Corner with Daddy.
First up, washing strawberries in a mixing bowl. The strainer is made of silicone, so the strainer bends to allow the snapping part to clip onto the edges no matter the size of the bowl. Then just add water to wash off the strawberries and let the water drain through the strainer. The snap and strain didn't fall off and held all but the rogue strawberries in place. I definitely would do that again, but I wonder if the rogue food will become an issue with other uses. Second, I tested it with boiled potatoes that will become mashed potatoes, linked to our breathtaking recipe in the description. It was a little tricky to attach it while avoiding the handles, but I finally figured it out. This time the water and pot are hot, but my hands didn't need to touch the pot to attach the strainer. The pot holders I am using here are for the pot itself, as the pot handles are too hot to touch. The straining went off without a hitch and no rogue potatoes left the pot this time. This is now my default way to drain potatoes when making mashed potatoes. Do you like what you see so far? Be sure to click my link in the description to get one of your very own through Amazon. But before you do that, let's see some more of the popular straining uses like draining off fat from ground beef and straining pasta. In my third trial, I browned 2 pounds of ground beef in a large 12-inch skillet. The Snap and Strain strainer snaps on just as easily as the other times. Now I want to direct all that grease into my grease jar. As I tilt the skillet, the strainer does a beautiful job of guiding the grease, only to the spout hole and into the jar. I love that part since when I try pouring the grease into a jar just by tilting the skillet, it's always a challenge to get the grease to only flow into the jar and not to drip out to the left or the right side of the jar. So far so good, but I'm worried that as I tilt the skillet more, the meat will begin to go rogue. So I used my spatula to try and put the meat under the strainer and used the spatula to hold the meat onto the skillet. But still, some of the ground beef falls out and into the grease jar. There's just too much ground beef to fit under that small space the strainer gives you. Even after taking out some of the ground beef, it's still too much for this strainer to handle. And as you can see, not all of the grease has been drained out yet. So I reached out for my trusty old colander and plastic bowl to finish straining the meat. Guess I'm not using the strainer on a large skillet filled with 2 pounds of ground beef again. But maybe I have a solution. Maybe that pan was too big and I should have used a smaller pan so that I could strain my meat easier, you might be saying. So I took out the 3 skillets that I currently use and clipped it on to see if it would work on each of them. The 12-inch skillet that I used for the ground beef only had a knuckle's worth of room for the food. That's much too small. Next, I clipped the strainer on the 10-inch skillet and surprisingly, it has about the same amount of knuckles worth of room. That's still too small. Lastly, I put the strainer on the 8-inch skillet, and I got a whole finger's width of room to store the meat in. But let's be honest, how often are you going to use a small 8-inch skillet to brown your ground beef? It's not very easy to brown 1 pound of ground meat in a skillet of that size, let alone the 2 pounds that I usually brown for my family of 4. But if you still want to use the Snap and Strain strainer for draining ground beef like I do, because of how easy it is to focus all that grease into the small jar, the easy solution is to just use a pot and not a skillet to brown your ground meat. Speaking of pots, how well will it work on a large pot of pasta? The 4th trial is with lasagna noodles using a very wide pot, the widest that we own. By the way, need a recipe for lasagna? Click the link below in the description. As you can see, there were no problems fitting on the Snap and Strain strainer. And no rogue noodles are falling out, just well-strained pasta. If you wanted to save some pasta water, you could also capture the water in another bowl below instead of just draining it into the sink like we did. This is a win in my book, and I would definitely use it again for straining lasagna or any other type of pasta. Do you like the snap and strain strainer now that you've seen some of the pitfalls and the blessings it brings? Be sure to click on the like button as it helps out my channel a lot, and if you want one for yourself, click the link in the description below to get one of your very own through Amazon.com. For the 5th trial, I am going to strain some parboiled green beans. The strainer fits snugly against the edges after easily snapping it on, just like the other times in the other pots. One pour later, and the green beans are ready for stir frying, as I do in my pork and beans and mushroom stir fry recipe, link in the description below, or by adding them to the green bean casserole. I'm going to have to record that recipe later. The strainer is also not hot at all, as I can easily take it off without any protection from the heat. It's done well on conventional pots, if not large skillets. But what about the inner cooking pots of the pressure cookers like Instant Pot Ninja and Milfy? So, as a test for the inner pots of pressure cookers, I browned some ground beef to see if a larger pot would hold in the ground beef and onions better. The biggest challenge in this case is getting the strainer to snap onto the outer edge. As I've seen with most pressure cookers, the inner pot has a curved outer edge that makes it thicker than a standard pot, which will make it harder to put the strainer on. With little finagling, as you can see here, the snap and strain does fit on. After browning the meat, plenty of room to hold the ground beef. No rogue pieces flying into the grease cup this time. If I needed to remove excess grease or drain water from a pressure cooker, like the Milfy, I wouldn't hesitate to use the snap and strain from Kitchen Gizmo. Could there be even more benefits? And the answer is a resounding yes. I like to use this snap and strain because of how well it works. Another big bonus comes with the cleanup. Using a colander for straining pasta or using a colander and a second container to catch the grease of ground beef creates larger, harder to clean kitchen gizmos, while the snap and strain cleans easily with soap and water, and or you can even toss it into the top rack of your dishwasher. And because of its small size, it won't take up much space in either the dishwasher, the countertop, or your cabinets. In this case, size does matter. So there you have it. My thorough testing of the Kitchen Gizmo Snap and Strain Strainer. I personally love this item and think it's a wonderful addition to any kitchen. If you want one for yourself, be sure to use the link to the Amazon page in the description below. In my book, this is the most worth it kitchen gadget I have purchased. Happy Healthy Wife, Chef Barry here, reminding you to... Wait a minute, you're still here? Well, if so, then you might want to consider clicking on the like button or leaving a comment down below. It really helps support the channel. And you can also subscribe and click the bell to be notified of all my new videos that come out on Mondays with shorts on Thursdays. Thanks for watching. Have a happy and healthy day.